2025 started off with what will go down as one of the best moments of the year, but there were also several other wonderful moments that will live long in the memory that occurred in January 2025. Here at Aussie Cousins Wrestling, we're hoping we can live long in your memory. Subscribing to the channel will help that out, while providing you with our recap of January in the WWE. Here are the best 5 and the 2 worst moments of the month in the WWE for January 2025. First up, we have a couple of honourable mentions. Julia and Obafemi both won the NXT Women's and Men's Championships respectively at NXT New Year's Evil to start the year, with the third brand in a whole new era. Secondly, the build-up to the Men's Royal Rumble matches has been superb. They have built up so many potential winners for the match, with all the main event stars each putting their case forward to be the final man standing. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for the booking of the Women's Royal Rumble, as this has been very lackluster. This is absolutely not a knock on the superstars involved, just that they haven't been given much to put their names forward outside of Charlotte Flair. Last and definitely not least of these mentions, Lyra Valkyria became the first ever Women's Intercontinental Champion in the second Raw of the year. She beat Dakota Kai in the final of the tournament in a wonderful exhibition of technical ability and crazy spots, like the suplex off the apron onto the floor. Either would have been a great winner, but Lyra has more than deserved her run with a new mid-card title. And now onto the list. Number 5, Penta debuts. We stated Penta was going to be a breakout star in the WWE this year, and so far, it is clear that they see so much in the Mexican luchador. His debut against Chad Gable was a great showing of his skills after a bit of a shaky start, and then a week later it was Pete Dunne's turn to help Penta showcase his ability. The presentation and entrance made him feel like a superstar already, and the crowd were immediately behind him. A face-off with Bron Breakker on the 27th of January had fans very excited about the future of Penta in the company. Number 4, the opening of Raw on Netflix. While the show itself was not too well received, especially amongst long-term fans of WWE, the presentation of the show was fantastic. The opening of Raw started with a video package being played on a square of curtains hanging in the ring, which provided an abridged history of WWE and wrestling in general. It was a very well produced video that ended with Pyro and Triple H standing in the ring to introduce the world of Netflix to the world of wrestling. Number 3, Rhea Ripley wins the Women's World Championship. The Raw debut on Netflix saw the end of the very long and bitter feud between Rhea Ripley and the Women's World Champion. After Dirty Dom's double heel turn at SummerSlam helped Liv retain the title, Rhea spent most of 2024 chasing her adversary. A match was set up for the first show of the Netflix era between the two of them, with the WWE clearly wanting to showcase two of the biggest women's stars to the potential new audience that the show was going to bring. This ended up being the best match between the two of them by far, with Liv getting plenty of offense in early on, but Rhea managing to fight back, even hitting a half-and-half suplex at one stage. Rhea managed to fend off the interference from Raquel and Dominic on the outside, and then finished off the job with a thunderous riptide and finally became the Women's World Champion once again, a title she never lost in the first place. And then hitting Dominic with a riptide and a very random celebration with The Undertaker of all people capped off a momentous night for the Aussie. Number 2, Jacob Fatu destroys Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu fought each other in January's edition of Saturday Night's Main Event, and this match didn't really get going, though there were some decent spots. And then when Fatu countered a Strowman Express, he sent him back into the ring to set him up for a hip attack, and another, until the referee got in his way. And what was a pretty awful ending to the match, to be honest, Fatu just shoved him down for the DQ. But it was made all the more better when Fatu ended up splitting Strowman open with his attack. And then it was time for the fantastic moonsault of his. A man his size just simply shouldn't be able to look so graceful as he flipped his way onto his opponent. Followed by 2 more and Strowman was decimated. I imagine some sort of no DQ or last man standing match is going to be coming up between the two of them, especially after Strowman eliminated Jacob Fatu out of the Royal Rumble. And before we get to number 1, let's check out what we think is the worst moment of the month. Or shall we say the worst 2 moments of the month, we're chucking them in together. This may be contentious, and here's someone who was incredible in the first half of 2024, but The Rock coming out for a promo on the Netflix debut and completely blowing up the storylines that had us all excited coming out of the 2024 WrestleMania season was so deflating for everyone invested in the feud between Cody, The Rock, and Roman Reigns. And then the following night, spending so much time saying absolutely nothing to the NXT crowd was just bizarre, when it also means the main event of the show had to have time taken off it just so he could be there. And let's get back to number 1. Tiffany Stratton cashes in her Money in the Bank contract. The first Smackdown of the year, and the first one in the 3-hour period of Smackdown, they needed something to go big. Earlier in the night, Candice and Nia mentioned that they hadn't seen Tiffany Stratton arrive yet. A simple throwaway segment after almost 6 months of tease cash-ins, and nothing to think about surely. Naomi and Nia Jax then went on to have another really good match. The two of them have some seriously good chemistry for these TV matches. On the outside, Bianca had gotten involved with Candice LeRae when Nia took out Bianca. And after a massive counter in the corner by Naomi, Tiffany's music hit, and while she teased to cash in, she shoved the new referee down and hit Naomi over the head with her briefcase. This led to Nia hitting the Annihilator on Naomi and getting the win. Tiffany, Nia, and Candice stood tall in the ring, and that was that. But then Nia celebrated on Brett's rope in the corner before getting whacked from behind by Tiffany Stratton, who then got rid of Candice LeRae. With Nia Jax in position though, Bianca got some revenge on her with an incredible KOD to the WWE Women's Champion. Just one more person to go for Tiffany as she took out Bianca over the announcer's table and finally cashed in her Money in the Bank contract for real. And then there's a reason why it's called the prettiest moonsault ever, because she hit one of her best yet, and she started the year as the WWE's Women's Champion with one of the cleverest cash-ins you're ever likely to see. After her constant fake out for cash-in attempts were getting tiresome, it needed to be plotted out just like this. She used the people around her to take out Nia before getting into position herself. Tiffany has looked like a star ever since coming to the main roster, and now it is confirmed. She then went on to have a fantastic match against Bayley a couple of weeks later too. And for those of us who have followed her career in NXT from the start, this was a very rewarding experience. What do you think were the moments of the month? Did we get them right, or did we miss something completely awesome? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're there, please make sure you click on the subscribe button to help us Aussies out on our journey. Click that like button as well, and make sure you check out the video on the screen right now with our review of the Royal Rumble event. And the most important thing of all is that we here at Aussie Cousins Wrestling hope that you all have yourselves a wonderful day.